Hey everybody, welcome to Workforce Gaming. I'm Brad, here with Doug.
Hey.
Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary is this year, which of course means no real new Kingdom Hearts games, but lots of good Kingdom Hearts information. So they did a big event yesterday. We're recording this Sunday, April 10th. They did it time zones just recently. That introduced, of course, 2 new mobile games. I think one. I think one is new, and I think the other one's a continuation.
Yeah.
And of course, we're gonna spend a lot of time talking about those. But the big deal, Kingdom Hearts 4. We got the first trailer. It is happening. It is real. I think in the end of our Kingdom Hearts 3 video, we did a whole bunch of predictions for Kingdom Hearts 4, which I'm very curious to go back and look at because I didn't.
I don't know why I didn't listen to that. I knew that if we both knew that, we should have listened to that at least a little bit.
That was irresponsible. But anyway, we just want to talk about Kingdom Hearts 4 because now it is officially a real thing.
Yes.
We've seen footage. We know very little, but it's here. So, so you watched it, the trailer. It's playing in the background here. First thoughts. Kingdom Hearts 4, you finally got to see it after only 3 years of waiting.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm going to say I loved it. I'm trying to think if they had shown me anything when I'd say I loved it.
I had that same thought of like, this is great. I was like, is this just great because it says Kingdom Hearts 4, or is it actually great? Because I don't really know. Because you could have just showed me a picture of Sora and I would be like, oh my god, it's Kingdom Hearts 4.
I mean, I liked it a lot because I like that it looks so not Kingdom Hearts. Yeah. I'm always a fan of when my favorite parts of Kingdom Hearts game is when Kingdom Hearts doesn't look like Kingdom Hearts. And that's like the Steamboat Willie up level, the Tron stuff they do. So to me, this is just like, oh, here's another cool new twist on Kingdom Hearts. I think I saw a lot of people like really down on it. Like they're like, this isn't what I want out of Kingdom Hearts. It's like, well, this is clearly one piece of 10 different levels where it's all going to look different. So to me, I think that was the thing I was like, I liked. It's like, oh, okay, they're still trying to do that different art style kind of thing. And I really, for some weird reason, I really like that it was in the real world. It's not, but it is. It's like in the real world, because I think ever since Kingdom Hearts 1 Secret Movie, which had this really super dark weirdo trailer for Kingdom Hearts 2 that was nothing like Kingdom Hearts 2. There's just something about Kingdom Hearts going to the real world, which I just find really fun and interesting, because it's like, I don't know why, but there's just something about it being like him jumping on cars, just like normal cars and like normal looking people, was just very exciting, and like a giant Heartless in the middle of the city. So I was just like extremely, it was awesome to me. And I'm excited to see more. And then the more I dug into the information, I realized like, oh, there's not a lot more than this.
Yeah, there's not much more. It's really just that city that, okay, here's a picture of kind of where our heads are at. And I think it kind of gives you more of that main overview, like you're saying. Like, we're getting this kind of more Kingdom Hearts in the real world, moving away from Destiny Island and that kind of thing, moving away. It's interesting. I like that they put Donald and Goofy at the end, because I really do feel like otherwise you're really hard pivoting from that overly Disney into this real thing. And I think putting Goofy and Donald as a tag is a really good way to go, oh, no. We've still got our Disney. We've still got kind of that magical Kingdom Hearts feel to it. We're not going crazy in a Final Fantasy 15 direction. You're just driving a car all the way and talking business all the time. Yeah. It's still here, but our overarching thesis almost for this is going to be Sora in a real world type atmosphere. Obviously not the real world. They get into a little bit of some details of where he is, but I do think there was a lot of just kind of that cool, it almost had that Mario Odyssey feel, where he's like,
sure. Oh, that's a great comparison. Absolutely. No, you're 100% or even
right. Kirby, even Kirby in the Forgotten Land, where we're taking these characters that Kirby, not so much, but Mario, where it's a very human character in a very unhuman world, and we're putting him in New Donk City, in this very human city. We're taking Sora from these kind of fun, magical, mystical worlds and plopping him right down into the middle of this city, this big city with cars and all this stuff going on.
Yeah, and I think there's something about like when you do that kind of like bring them into the real world, there's a sort of, I can see why a lot of people would be disappointed, because it's just like, well, now you have to follow, now it's just like every other game that's set in the real world. And I think, but just like plopping out giant Heartless in it, and he's still doing kind of normal Kingdom Hearts fighting big boss stuff, but in the real, I just aesthetically, I think it's just a really neat, fun idea. I can see why it scares a lot of people though, because they just want to be, I mean, me too. I mean, like, I doubt, I can't imagine they're throwing away like going to Disney. Like, I want to go to Encanto or Turning Red or something. Like, Turning Red will probably be a summon, and I'll very much enjoy that giant panda summon.
Oh, you're going to that house though. As popular as Encanto is right now, you're going to that house.
Oh,
you're going there.
Oh, yeah.
You're going
yeah,
there.
yeah. Oh no, the magic, why the magic is disappearing is because the Heartless are involved for sure.
Exactly. It writes itself. It writes itself. Yeah. Pixar wrote that movie. Or I don't know if it was Disney or Pixar.
That was Disney. That was a Disney one. Yeah.
Disney made that movie knowing how Nomura was going to use it in Kingdom Hearts.
Exactly.
Somebody on the writing staff was like, we need somewhere for the Heartless to come in, and it's where that candle starts to flicker.
Exactly. You see, like, and then like they turn the camera and you see a Heartless running off that Sora sees because that was happening off camera.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think this is a good spot to preface some of the outside information from the trailer. So Nomura went and did a couple Q&As and stuff, and some people paraphrased it. Kingdom Hearts Insider is kind of the one that I've got pulled up where they paraphrased a few different things. But he's currently preparing for which worlds will appear.
I was like, this is coming out in a year. I don't know why. And then as soon as they're saying we're prepping the worlds, like, and then you see, I feel like I rewatched the trailer. It's like, I see this being very early. I have now turned off. I've now put on my, like,
Game critic goggles.
Game critic. Yeah. Or my, like, not having played 20 years of Kingdom Hearts goggles.
Exactly.
And, like, it's like, oh yeah, this looks a lot like Final Fantasy 15 early stuff. Like, like suspiciously a lot like Final Fantasy 15 early stuff. Yeah.
But I think that's a good point because again, if they're prepping worlds, that means we don't even know if we're going back to Frozen for like a fourth time or a third time or whatever. We don't know if we're going back to Traverse Town. We don't know where we're going. Obviously, we have this, I'm guessing, kind of more of a central area that's focused in on of this real life city, but we don't know where we're going from there yet at this point in development, which again to me is saying like we're years away. We don't even have the art direction down for these worlds. We don't have the character, how Sora's going to look in these worlds. We don't have the enemies. We don't have any of that. We don't have the stuff written for these worlds. So that's telling me they're really early in development. He also basically came out and said the only reason we did this is because we didn't want it just to leak out like on some random day. So here it is. Here's what we've got right now. It's gonna happen, but I want to be the one to tell you is kind of the sense I got from it.
Yeah, and the thing I did like is like I remember that the Kingdom Hearts 3 information drip was like horrible because it was like I think they announced it with like concept art or something. I don't remember what it was, but I just remember it was like, here's the big news, a piece of concept art of Big Hero 6. I'm like, this sucks. I do like that it felt like it felt like it gave me something to chew on for a little bit until the next drip of feed. Like a lot just to kind of think about. Like I think it's funny he didn't want to leak out because it kind of already did leak out. If you guys want to see interesting stuff, look at the Nvidia leak, where basically a big database of upcoming games got leaked by accident, and Kingdom Hearts 4 was one of them. I guess I can kind of see getting ahead of it. I'm glad it's Kingdom Hearts 4. I'm glad it's not anything it could have been in between.
I am curious though, because again, this feels very early. There's the two mobile games that I honestly didn't. I clicked through those trailers so fast. I'm not going to touch them. It is interesting to jump right there because I mean, if you think between 2 and 3, you had Birth by Sleep, you had Chain of Memories, you had the number one 356/2. I think is the numbers. Yep. You had Birth by Sleep. You had 2.8. You had 3D. Yeah, you had so many of these little things and. Not to discredit all of those, just like I discredited those mobile games, because I do think like Birth by Sleep is a good full game. 3D is a pretty good full game. Like, I am curious to know if we just threw 4 out there because we know that's what you want to see. And hey, by the way, Birth by Sleep 2 might slide in the middle here. We might get something else because again, if this is that early, who knows where we're actually at in it. Yeah. But yeah, it is definitely interesting to see. And I mean, he kind of basically came out and said too, it sounds like that this is all you're getting. Don't sit there and go, oh, Kingdom Hearts 4. It's not. It's not going to be at Summer Game Fest. It's not going to be at whatever other events. It's not. Yeah. Just enjoy your 3-minute trailer. Look at New Sora. Look at this city. Enjoy it for now, and I'll be back when I feel it.
Whenever. Yeah, like after Final Fantasy 16 releases for sure. Do you think that they made a more realistic Sora so they can lean harder into live action stuff?
And that's...
I mean, we didn't talk about it, but the forest they showed is likely Endor from Star
So
Wars.
just to
Likely.
reference what everybody's pointing out here is if you pause in one of the scenes in the trailer, there's what looks like the foot of an AT-AT just hanging out in the back of a jungle. So everybody instantly goes to Endor. And I am curious because I think that's, I mean, but again, the thing to me is they did Pirates, and Pirates always looked okay. Pirates never looked funky. I think if you go back and play some of the old ones, it looks real funky, but I think Kingdom Hearts 3 did a fairly decent job of making that good blend between the two.
Yeah.
I do feel like more realistic Sora does make it much, much easier to just throw a Jedi robe on him and move on. Or, now he's got an Iron Man mask.
Tony Stark. Yeah. I mean, that's gotta be exciting for you though. I mean, for me, it's like I'm like, I was a little mad about it. I can kind of like a little bit, but yeah, I mean, is that like this is like I don't know what's your dream Kingdom Hearts? Is Marvel Star Wars your dream Kingdom Hearts, or like just a
I don't really have one because I like the surprise. I like the weirdness of stuff. Like there are Kingdom Hearts worlds where like I mean Tron. I love Tron. The Tron world kind of I've never been like super impressed with the Tron world. Mm-hmm. Like so that's the thing where I think a lot of times what I look forward to isn't always my favorite ones. I think sometimes like they do some interesting things. Like I was really excited for Monsters Inc. It's just that weird. It's just that weird linear level in the middle of the game. So I noticed that like to me, the Star Wars one is almost disappointing because it's like if you're gonna do Star Wars, why on earth are we doing Endor?
I love that your Star Wars
this.
thinking cap went on immediately is very funny.
It's like your mind, you think Star Wars, you're like, oh man, like Hoth, like Tatooine's being done to death right now, but some like on a Star Destroyer, on the Death Star, there's so many cool ways you could go with that, and you're like, what about the generic looking forest with Ewoks? That's where we should go.
Sure, like, that's fun. Yeah.
But I don't know. It's one of those things where I think you could have a lot of fun with those things, but at the same time, I think you could do them. You could make them very, very weird and awkward because they don't quite have that. Star Wars, I think you could get away with a little bit just because, Jedi mysticism, all that stuff. But I think like if you go into like Marvel and that kind of stuff, I think you start getting this weird blend of like, we're trying too hard. Like we mentioned, like in Kanto, where it's like, this is clearly like there's an easy point of access for Kingdom Hearts. I don't think you have that quite as much in as many live action things just because they're so grounded.
Sure.
And that'll be my curiosity with going to this more realistic world is, how much are we grounding Kingdom Hearts now? Because Kingdom Hearts is a batshit crazy story with a whole bunch of nonsense that nobody really understands, even if they tell you that they do.
Yeah.
And like Marvel, especially in Star Wars, to some points tries to ground this and make this all feel like, okay, there's some legitimacy here. There's some stuff going on here that's weird, but it's grounded in nanobots and robot suits and weird DNA mixtures and stuff like that. So it's like it's all heavily grounded. So now it's like, okay, now there's I don't know. It just feels like there's some disconnect there that makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, I think it was interesting with the Encanto stuff they were talking about because those are the worlds I don't typically like. Are the ones where it's like let's just kind of retell the Disney movie but bad. But I was thinking about the Star Wars Marvel stuff, and I realized like after Kingdom Hearts 3, it's like I don't think I really care about the Disney worlds that much. Like as far as like what gets me excited about Kingdom Hearts, it's like Aqua's a bad guy. Is like that's the part that's exciting.
Kingdom Hearts 3, the trailer moment that got everybody was Aqua's eyes. That was the thing. It wasn't like, oh my god, Big Hero 6, oh Monsters Inc. It was like, dude, did you see your eyes? Do you know what that means? And I think that's the coolest thing to me about Kingdom Hearts is again kind of doing this big 20-year celebration. Is 20 years ago, Kingdom Hearts was built on the like, here's this random character. Look, he's going to Disney places. This is so much fun. Look, it's Hercules. Look, it's Aladdin. And now it's like, no, I don't care.
Yeah.
Where's Riku? what's up with Kairi? Is Sora ever gonna make it back to like? I want to go to Destiny. Like, why are we going to Traverse Town? Like, are we going to Traverse Town? Like,
well, and that's the thing. Like, I really liked about this trailer in general was just like it felt like it. I mean, it was nice. Like, so I mean, all aside, I do like Goofy and Donald and Mickey because they actually are involved in the bullshit. But it was nice because that trailer just felt like, oh, this is just wholly Kingdom Hearts. Like there's no Disney-ness to it except for that like little tag at the end. I was like, oh yeah, this is just 100% pure, Disney or Kingdom Hearts stuff. I think the one thing I do hope that they do with the Disney worlds in this one, and we're getting a little bit like what we want. But the one thing I do want is I really really liked how they treated Big Hero 6 and Monsters Inc. and the Toy Story worlds. Is that they treated them like canon. which meant that they weren't just going to retell the stories. They were going to be sequels, or they're going to be in between these parts. And those were always the best ones. And I don't know if they can play that way with like Marvel and Star Wars. It kind of freaks me out because I feel like Star Wars license and Marvel license just means like, we're not going to be able to play around anymore. It's like, oh, that sucks.
So here's what I will say. Here's what I'll say to that as being way too involved into both of those.
Sure.
Star Wars, I think right now you'd have a tough time with, just because they are hitting so hard in canon. Marvel, the thing about Marvel is that it's so big.
Sure.
That, I mean, if you think about it, like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, I think in our mind when we go Marvel, we're thinking like Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark. That's not necessarily where we have to go.
I don't see it not going that way though. I don't see how they could do this without MCU. Could you imagine having weird Tony's, like, I don't think you could get away with not having Robert Downey Jr. Like, to me, this has to be
The Avengers
MCU.
game just happened and was mildly successful.
But that's not
maybe a bit exciting.
That's true, but that's not a Disney World. You know what I mean? To me, Disney World is the MCU.
But Marvel, okay. But Marvel's not a Disney World, like, in my mind. Like, Marvel is a subsidiary of Disney. Like, it's not like I'm not going like I'm not. I mean, as hard as they're trying, I'm not like going to Disney World pumped to see Iron Man. Like, that's not why you're going to Disney World. Like,
sure.
Those in my mind, like Marvel has so many different avenues between like comics and games and cartoons, and there's so many different other ways that you could plug into Marvel that I think you could play around with it a lot and do some fun things. Star Wars, on the other hand, because it is just one through line. If you read the books, they are direct canon. If you read the comics, they are tied. Like, they're giving you weird backstory that like is super important to different characters in the movie that just randomly pop up in like this comic of like, oh yeah, here's Han Solo's ex-wife. Like, Han Solo has an ex-wife. Did you know that? Because you didn't read the comics. Like, and that is completely canon throughout the thing. And it's just one of those things where I think Star Wars is so strict on everything following that line post Disney buyout and losing the Legends canon. I think 10 years ago you could have got away with a little more. It's getting way too into like Star Wars and Marvel canon right now, but suffice to say, I think Marvel you could do some things with. I do think like everybody's assuming you go MCU, but there's a lot more to play with there.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't know if I can go through another weird looking Tony Stark. I just feel like that's going to happen again. It's like, God damn it. You know what it is? Like, as much as I don't like the Marvel stuff, I do want to fight Darth Vader. I want to fight Darth Vader, and I want to fight alongside Tony Stark, and then I'm good. Just make those like little 5-minute sequences.
Make them a Coliseum. You're going back to Hercules Coliseum? Darth Vader's in there. You're going back there? Tony Stark jumps in. I
just don't want to go to like, I'm coming up on a new land. It's New York City. Great. Yeah. No, I'm excited. I like the new look. I like everything. I'm just, I guess we'll wait and see. Yeah, it was cool stuff. It was very cool stuff.
It's cool stuff. Just because I know you, we would be remiss without diving into the Verum Rex Final Fantasy Versus 13 conspiracy theories here. I could give two shits about this, but I know that you really loved that 13-year-old trailer.
I do love that 13-year-old trailer.
Jump in here and tell me why this is not good that it's not, or better that it's not, or whatever.
Okay, so the actual quote is that they had a decision that like Nomura had a decision to make. Well, do you want to make Kingdom Hearts 4 or do you want to make this game called Versus Rex, which would basically be if you play Kingdom Hearts 3 at the beginning of the Toy Story 3 level, there's this crazy effing trailer with all these brand new characters, and I think they kind of hinted at it at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 where he ends up in this kind of like night version of Shibuya, and I really liked that. I liked it a lot because it's like, oh shit, we're getting Versus 13, which is this like long lost Nomura project and all this other stuff. But I think kind of like how we started this discussion, like, I don't know if I could take another bullshit game in between Kingdom Hearts 3 and 4. I don't know if I could wait another game. So, I mean, I'm glad they're hopping to Kingdom Hearts 4. I do hope, though, and I think this is what they're probably going to do, is that instead of making Versus Rex or whatever it's called, like a separate game, they're going to be like, okay, here's like a world of that. Because I just thought that was just such a neat kind of, I think that was actually probably my favorite part of Kingdom Hearts 3 was that trailer, that fake trailer for Versus Rex, because it just came so out of nowhere and was completely unexpected, and it just looked really cool. It looked like a mix of a lot of cool Nomura stuff. So I hope that kind of peeks in a little bit, but honestly, like I think this trailer to me, just because it looks so much like that stuff anyway, like it's Sora fighting in a realistic city. I don't really know what those additional characters would add to it. To be totally honest, I think it's like basically sufficing what I wanted out of like a fake Versus 13 or a
I will
sort of thing game. Yeah.
I will say, I saw somebody, I don't remember who it was, posted on Twitter, but it was literally like screen caps from the Versus 13 trailer next to similar scenes from the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer. It's like, here's him sliding down a building. Here's him. It's just like, it was a trailer 13 years ago, guys. Get over it.
Nomura has not, clearly. It's just cool. It's just, I think it's like that. It's kind of like those like weird long lost. It's like the Duke Nukem Forever for nerds.
That's hopefully has nothing else in common with that piece of shit game. Well, okay, we have to end it here.
We do.
Give me the release date.
Oh shit! What? So it's 2022 now.
It's April 10th, 2022.
I was actually pretty confident it was 20. I thought for sure 2024 before I read the weirdest tiding on Worlds. I think this is gonna be as long a wait as for Kingdom Hearts 3, whatever that was first. I think this is 5 years out. I think it's like 2027 for sure. I think this is after Remake 2. I think this is after 16. I think this is way down the pipeline. I think
after
this is
9 remake.
Yeah. Oh, sure. I think this is the last. I think this is the end. I think this is the last project of all the cool big Square projects we have. I think this is the last one to come out. So I'm gonna say 2026 for sure.
So because
4 years.
3 was 19, right? If I remember.
Oh, so you're saying it's already been? So you're thinking it's already 3 years in development?
No, it's God, no, it's not. I'm saying that it's already been 3 years plus the extra 4. So you're saying 7 years. Okay, I was going like January of 2025 because they're going to tell us it's 2024 and then it's going to get bumped to January, which I think is what happened. I think that's what happened with 3 is it got bumped because they're going to tell us 2023. Yeah. And then they're going to tell us 2024 and then it's going to get bumped to 2025.
That to me is so optimistic. They haven't started the game. What is it?
Yeah.
Without the Disney World, that's like what? Although Kingdom Hearts 3 was like a third of that game had nothing to do with Disney stuff, so it's possible.
I said the back third of that game was just in a desert world.
Yeah.
The back third of that game felt like we had nothing but desert sands here. Here we go.
Yeah, which is great for Unreal. They're very excited to to redraw that.
Oh yeah. They're not even working in the engine that this game's going to be on yet. They're still on 4, and they're like, oh yeah, no, we'll shift to 5 soon.
And you think January 2024 is? That's crazy. That's
25,
2 years.
25.
Oh, 25. Okay,
Should I say 24? I meant to say 25. January 25.
The loser has to buy the other one, Kingdom Hearts. No, I'm just kidding. I'm pre-ordering this immediately.
Because we're going to remember this in 5 years. All right. We are Workforce Gaming. You can subscribe to us wherever you're listening. Follow us on Twitter at Workforce Gaming, and we will see you later.
Bye.